Welcome to the STEMucation Academy Advanced Online course. In this video, we'll review information that will help you as you work your way through the course.
Hello and welcome to the STEMucation Academy course. I'm Dr. Anant Kukreti, Professor of Engineering at the University of Cincinnati and a long-time STEM education advocate. The idea of this course originated at my university and was supported by a National Science Foundation grant. It was started to fill the gap between science practice standards that include the practices of engineering design and teacher training that fails to cover this important topic. While mathematical practice standards do not directly mention engineering, they promote teaching students habits of mind and engineering design as one vehicle to develop these critical habits. In a math classroom, engineering design challenges can engage students in problem solving, critical thinking, sense making, reasoning, collaboration, communication, precise measurement, collection and analysis of data, and so on. We have been successfully certifying teachers in engineering education for 6 years, and over 88 teachers in science, math, and engineering have benefited from the program. Based on their enthusiasm and feedback from hundreds of interviews, we are now offering a similar online course. This course trains teachers to create a learning environment designed to engage students in doing and facilitating students' active engagement in their own learning. This is achieved by training teachers to use a challenge-based learning or CBL methodology. This approach fosters student teamwork in which each team identifies a challenge of interest to them and then work through the use of the engineering design process or EDP to seek out one or more solutions. Put simply, the EDP is a process that engineers follow to devise solutions for problems. However, the nature of EDP is inherently flexible. As for any challenge or problem, there are constraints, trade-offs, and performance objectives that make a variety of potential solutions available. As such, the EDP is an iterative process that requires constant revision. Students, with time, learn to persist in finding solutions where the designs initially fail. As you work your way through the STEMucation Academy course, it will help you to meet the required standards and at the same time allow you to create a unit of instruction for your classroom. The EDP, a key component of this methodology, is a simple concept to understand but more challenging to implement well. Like many skills, it takes practice. That is what a majority of this course is dedicated to: designing and implementing your own unit using CBL and EDP processes. With this experience, the challenge-based learning teaching methodology and the engineering design process can be adopted to and enhance any unit of study, not just math and science. Administrators tell us that the ability of the teachers to create their own lessons is highly valued. To them, it means that teachers have the mastery and the flexibility to take on new teaching challenges. A number of our teachers have gone on to move advanced career opportunities. Most importantly, they report the satisfaction of creating a unit that meets their needs and arouses student interest and engagement. Because we recognize that CBL in EDP is a skill that requires individual practice, you will be assigned a personal coach who will guide you through the creation and teaching of your own unit and be there to answer questions. Our teachers tell us this is what sets our program apart from other programs. The online self-paced format also meets the flexibility teachers require from their busy schedules. All the best as you complete this course of study. I have personally seen the value that brings to student engagement and teacher satisfaction, and wish the same to you.
Before we talk about the course, here are some things you'll need prior to starting. Since you're watching this video, it's assumed you have access to a good computer and a good internet connection. There are a number of videos you'll be watching and a few documents to download. We'll go over the download process later in this video to illustrate how it's done. You may need a headset if your environment has a high level of ambient noise, but it's not absolutely necessary. Sometimes it's easier to hear using a headset, so you'll have to be the judge of that. A Google account is recommended so that you can share your work with your coach. If you have a Google account and are familiar with Google Drive, you're probably ready to start sharing your documents. If you don't have a Google account or are not familiar with Google Drive, don't worry. We'll provide some tutorials in the first module. Most of the videos you'll watch are located on YouTube, so you'll need to ensure you're able to access it. A number of the documents that you'll be completing are in Microsoft Word format. If you do not have access to Microsoft Word, there are other alternatives available. You might use WPS Writer, which can be downloaded at www.wps.com. This program is free and is very similar to Word. Your coach is here to help. Hopefully you won't be too overwhelmed as you learn about hooks, big ideas, sources for engineering design challenges, the engineering design process, and more during this online professional development course. By the end of your training, you will have created materials that will help you create a new, exciting learning environment in your classroom. So how can your coach help? As you begin the development of your engineering design challenge activity, your coach might brainstorm ideas with you or provide timely feedback and tips on the documents you create. In cases where you're interested in introducing a new tool into your classroom, your coach can provide individualized training as needed. Lastly, your coach will provide encouragement and support as you navigate the unit development process and the implementation of the unit in your classroom. Make sure you take advantage of the support your coach can provide. It's advisable that you meet with your coach initially to get started, and then 4 to 5 times to review your unit and activity plans. Your coach will also offer helpful suggestions to help guarantee the successful implementation of your unit in the classroom. Make sure you keep your coach in the loop as you work through this course. Experience has shown that unit completion and implementation should occur in a condensed span of time to maximize your effectiveness. In this case, we suggest the process extend no longer than 3 months or 12 weeks. Stretching out the development process is inefficient as it interrupts your train of thought and typically requires a lot of rework and rethought. Likewise, if the implementation of your unit in the classroom takes too long, your students will lose interest and quite possibly forget the point of the unit. In this case, the activities you develop should last no longer than 1 to 2 weeks. Showcasing your work will help you organize your materials for your own use, as well as for other teachers who find your unit ideally suited for their own classrooms. A unit repository is being established for you to share your work. Lastly, to make it easier for others to use your materials, continually ask yourself this question: would another teacher be able to use any materials in their classroom with no coaching from me? If the answer to that question is no, rework your materials to improve their usability. As you work your way through the course, you will complete the oral evaluation guide. This guide will be used during check-ins to establish a good communication vehicle with you and your coach, and is a means of assessing your knowledge of challenge-based learning and engineering design process terminology. During your check-ins, you will review what you have written and agree on any recommendations for improvement. These agreed upon improvements will be documented in the recommendations column. This jointly owned document will help to ensure appropriate knowledge of challenge-based learning and engineering design process methodology. You will download this document as you complete Module 1. The development and implementation time required for your unit will be highly dependent on things such as complexity of the unit, the materials that need to be collected to implement the unit, and the procedures that you'll need to write. This is simply an estimate to better help you plan your time. For your pre-work, you'll identify standards that you are accountable to teach. From these standards, you'll develop learning objectives that further outline what you will expect your students to learn during the implementation of this unit. In Module 1, you'll be creating an engineering design process activity for implementation in your classroom. This will help orient you to the engineering design process and allow you to get early feedback from your coach on the EDP activity content. Module 2 is where you will actually implement your EDP activity in the classroom. You'll also critique a unit plan and 3 associated activity plans. This will help you gain some perspective on what the documentation looks like and allows you to express any concern that you might have with teaching this unit in your own classroom. As a note, the time listed for this module does not include the implementation time in your classroom. In order to develop ideas for a unit of your own, you'll be introduced to a number of databases in Module 3. You'll also be introduced to terminology such as the hook, the big idea and essential questions, and more. Module 4 includes more introductory material on guiding questions and includes a section on doing some advanced planning for your unit with respect to the activities you will use and the estimated timing. Modules 5 and 6 are grouped together since these are all about completing the unit plan and the associated activity plans. This is where you will spend a majority of the time when developing your unit materials. Creating a cooperative learning environment is a part of Module 7. This may introduce you to new strategies or refresh your memory on strategies you've used before. You'll also check in with your coach prior to the implementation for your unit in the classroom. Once your coach gives you the final approval, you will implement your unit in the classroom. As a note, the timing here does not include the classroom implementation. Once you've taught your unit, you'll want to reflect on its merits. In Module 8, you'll put the finishing touches on your unit, meet again with your coach for the final sign-off, and celebrate your success. The estimate of 26 hours to complete your unit can be highly variable and is provided as an estimate only. Occasionally during the course, you'll need to download a document. The download process is initiated by clicking on the associated hyperlink in the assignment table. The document you are downloading is shown in view mode in your browser. To download this document to your computer, you'll need to click on the 3 dots which bring up a More Actions menu. On the More Actions menu, click Download. The file will be downloaded to your Downloads folder, and in some cases it will open in the associated applications such as MS Word. If it doesn't open automatically, navigate to your Downloads folder and open it from there. As you download documents, you'll want to save them to a computer in a folder that can be used throughout the course. These documents will be used to complete various assignments. To share these with your coach, you'll need to save them in a folder that you create on a cloud-based platform such as Google Drive, Dropbox, or Microsoft OneDrive. Due to the common use of Google Drive, links are provided here for both creating a Google account and on using Google Drive to create a folder to store your work. Sharing your work with your coach is best done by uploading your work to the Google Drive folder that you create and then sharing the folder with your coach. You'll need your coach's email address to do that. This will be provided by the program coordinator. If you already have a Google account and are familiar with using Google Drive, no need to follow the instructions here. Naming your files is important since a number of folks are likely to view them, including your coach and other teachers. A good naming scheme will reduce the confusion over a file's contents. For your unit and activity plans, using the terms unit plan and activity number in the file name make it apparent as to the contents of the file. Adding your name and the date the files were created also helps to identify the owner and creation history. To make it easier to understand the order of your files, adding a letter in front of the file name will allow the files to be listed in the order that you will use them in your classroom. This is helpful when other teachers want to use your materials. If you discover other materials that you will use as part of your activity, you should rename them in a similar manner. For example, if you have a kinetic energy worksheet in PDF format, you might name it as noted here. By strategically inserting the C2 as a prefix to the file name, it will list it in the order you are most likely to use it in your classroom. To share your files with your coach, you'll need to upload them to Google Drive and share them there. If you already know how to do this, move the progress bar slider forward on this video to the next topic. To upload your files, you'll need to access Google Drive. In your browser, type drive.google.com and then press the Enter key. This will work with most browsers, but since Google Drive is a Google product, it's recommended that you use Google Chrome. When you press the Enter key, you will see a menu that looks similar to the one shown here. To create a new folder, click on the New button, then click on Folder. Type in a folder name that is appropriate for your unit. In this case, we'll use Energy Transformation Unit as the folder name. Click Create, and you'll have created a new folder where you can upload your files. Double-click on the new folder to open it. Then click New, File Upload, and select the appropriate folder to upload from. Select the appropriate file and click Open to complete the upload. To reduce the amount of sharing that you have to do, you should share the entire folder you created. To do that, click on the down arrow to the right of the folder name. Then click Share. Add your coach's email addresses to the Share folder and make sure you allow editing. By allowing editing, your coach will be able to upload any files to your folder. Click Send to complete the sharing. Your coach will now get an email with a link to your folder. As you complete the rest of this course, you will add a number of files to the newly created Google Drive folder. Your coach can now review any materials you upload to the folder.
Since you'll be watching a number of YouTube videos, it might be helpful to understand how to adjust the video playback speed, the screen resolution, and how to play the YouTube video in full screen mode. As you watch this video, note the location of the settings icon in the lower right-hand corner of the video. It's the little icon that looks like a gear. Watch now as the playback speed and the screen resolution are adjusted. Finally, it illustrates how to play the video in full screen mode. First thing we'll do is we'll adjust the playback speed. You might want to adjust the playback speed to play it a little bit faster. In this case, if I set it at 1.25, it'll play it at 25% higher speed. The other thing you might want to do is adjust the screen quality. If you adjust it to 1080p, in this case it'll give you the highest resolution and the clearest picture. The other thing you might want to do is to play it in full screen mode. That's this little icon down here in the corner. If I click on that, it'll make it full screen.
To get started, download the pre-work study guide by entering the hyperlink noted on the slide. The document is in PDF format, so browsers such as Microsoft Edge, Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, and Apple Safari all seem to work fine. If you run into problems, contact the course coordinator at the email address noted at the bottom of the slide. Good luck!